welcome back to Season in Review. When General Manager Brian Burke not too long ago gave his end-of-season press conference, made no secret about it. That first order of business, try to get Jonas Gustavsson signed. He did sign a 2-year contract extension. When you look back at his rookie season, Paul, how would you assess it?
It was a tale of two different seasons. And Andy, he comes into training camp and we're all expecting good things. In fact, had a very good game against the Detroit Red Wings in the preseason. And then beyond that, the first of 2 heart ablation procedures. That really set him back. He finally gets back. Game 2 is thrust into action because Vasataskala, as we know, did not play well enough, let in 3 of his first 6 shots in net against the Capitals. He slightly pulls a groin. Played another game against Ottawa, but then had to shut it down for 5 or 6 games, so never really got off the mark. Gets into Montreal December 1st, plays a tremendous first period, but we see him hunched down after that 20 minutes. He's got to come off the ice, a second heart ablation procedure, and that was it. Second half of the season, he struggled. And then J.S. Giguère arrives, things settle down, his heart settles down, there's a comfort level for Jonas Gustavsson, and the rest is history as he goes 7-0-0 in the month of March and ends the season with a new 2-year contract. And of course, hopefully for him, maybe the goaltender of the future for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And halfway through the season, you had a chance to speak with Jonas Gustavsson.
Go back to that first win in Anaheim when the team needed a win in the worst way. What do you remember of that night?
Well, of course, that was my first win too, so that was a night I will always remember. Nice to have it down in sunny California too, but yeah, it was a great win. I think we played really good. We scored a lot of goals, so that made it easy for me too. So I think in the end we were up by 4 or 5 goals there. And then they came back and scored 1 or 2 goals in the end there. But the feeling after the game, have my first NHL win, and for the team too, it was an important win, as you said. It was huge for me and for the team too, I think.
With the good times come the tough times, and I think you grow from the tough times. How difficult was it for you in that game against Calgary here to come off the ice, knowing how competitive you are and wanting to have been better that night?
Well, of course, you're not happy when you let a couple of goals in early in the game and then they switch the goalie. I mean, you always want to finish the game and you want to win the game. That's why you play. But you know, sometimes it's going to happen. I mean, you could let the first 3 goals in. Sometimes you let the last 3 goals in. But that night, I didn't have the bounce with me, and it was hard situations. And maybe I could have 1 goal or so. But there's lots of games, and you can't just think about that. You have to move on and just think about the next practice all the time.
Last question. What's your objective for the remainder of the season? Where do you want to see Jonas Gustavsson grow from where you are now to where you're going to be in April?
Well, I don't think so much about me. It's more about the team. Of course, I want to play games. I want to help the team win. But first of all, for the team now to come back and climb into this and maybe at some point reach the playoff. I mean, that's what we have to aim for. So it's more about the team now, and I'm just going to try to help the team when I get the chance to play. And when I don't play, I try to push the team and support them, and then on the practice, work hard and try to improve myself all the time.
Paul, we talk about the impact J.S. Giguère had on the young rookie goaltender Jonas Gustavsson, but also nice that they got in a guy who can help him. It's almost like he's a second coach, not just a goalie that they can put in net every night as well.
And he doesn't want to admit to being a second coach, but that's how it evolved. He certainly was there helping out the young goaltender from Sweden. He brought stability, I think, to the net position, Andy. He taught Jonas how to be a professional National Hockey League goaltender, not a professional goaltender, because Jonas was certainly that in the Swedish Elite League, but to play in the National Hockey League, how to conduct oneself physically, mentally, and to prepare on and off the ice. And I think we saw the results with Jonas following that acquisition on January the 31st. But I think for JS himself, he came here with something to prove. He had not played well in the last season and a bit out in Anaheim, so he comes here, reels off 2 consecutive shutouts, then slumped a little bit, but ended the season with 4 great games culminating with that fine performance in Montreal, where if he does not play the way he does, Toronto does not get out of there with a 4-3 overtime win.
Well, with Gustavsson signing the 2-year extension, it looks like the goaltending situation is set next year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be hearing from veteran defenseman Thomas Camberlé. Stay with us.